What's up, America? Neil here from Geauga Firearms Academy. Thanks for watching. Today I've got a special guest, Greg, here with me. How are you, Greg?
Good.
Thanks for coming. Very good. And so we're going to do some self-defense things. First, we're going to start out with some basic concepts. Then we're going to do another series later down the road on some ground defense as well. And should be a lot of fun. So let's get started. First of all, I beat this horse dead already. It's a skeleton. We're still beating it. But at the end of the day, since I got a larger opponent here today, you can kind of see this. Greg, what do you weigh?
230.
Okay, so he's got me by 20 pounds, give or take. So, as I said earlier, when you've seen this with Kim and I, and we do demonstrations on this, there's always that sensei magic, that escape. And so I just want to show you now with someone where we're a little closer in strength. So, if Greg were to grab my arm, and you guys will see this a lot in martial arts places, he has a thumb. So as you can see here, he's got his thumb here and his fingers here. So clearly, if I hold on tight, if I pull down or try to pull away this way, that's never going to work. But if I go towards the thumb, hold on tightly, don't let me go. Okay, pretty easy. Go ahead. Don't let me go this time. Do not let me go. I'll give you $100. Okay, ready? Go. Okay, super easy. Because we're going towards the thumb. Now, obviously, if I brought Kim in here or somebody smaller, that's never going to work. So just as I suspected, if I do that to him, he does this to me, that's going to work. But that's totally unrealistic in real life. So as we know, go ahead, hold on. Rather than trying to do this and trying to get away from someone who's significantly stronger, we know that the best option here is to go ahead and pop the top of his hand. How'd that feel?
It felt great.
Wonderful. He loves that. So we can either use that, we could use our knife, which I took off, our pen, whatever the case is, to come to the top. You can use your knuckle. But the top of this hand, the harder he squeezes my hand, the tighter he pulls all this, the more damage and the more advantage I have to get him to let go. And by the way, even if he's all drugged up and crazy, if I break these bones in there, he's not going to be able to hold on. So many times when I have a class of some sort, self-defense, whatever the case is, I'll ask a question in the class, which is, what's the one thing, what's, you know, the top one or two situations that you fear most? And inevitably at some point, some type of headlock or choke comes to mind, okay? So today I want to show you a couple escapes from that. And it is very common, because even if Greg didn't know anything and there's some other person, as you get into some type of struggle, odds are, as you know, most fights go to the ground. If we're here messing around, there's a good chance that somehow I'm going to get around, grab his head, whatever the case is. So I'm going to show you some concepts here to get out. And remember, as I say always in all videos, this does not replace real training. You have to go find someone in your local area and get some training, okay? It may not be the first place you go, it might be the third place you go, but find somebody that you connect with, that you learn a lot from. But this will at least kind of get you some concepts of what we want to do. So I'm going to take my shades off here for a second. So first thing that's going to happen here, let's say that Greg gets me in a headlock, and it won't matter, I'll show you a bunch of different angles. But so here I am, okay? So Greg gets me in this headlock. Now, the worst thing that I can do is try to push away from him, because I only have a limited amount of time right here. If I put my hands here and start to slowly pull tight, no matter how much I pull now, he's expecting it. So that's not going to help me. So even, let's say Greg is bent over a little bit more, so we're really in this struggle, and you can tell by my voice, he's got a pretty good hold on here. If I want to create space, what I have to do first is I want to drop my weight, and when I do this, it's a quick movement. So I'm coming from here to here, okay? So without Greg here, if I'm here and I start to slowly pull down, I'm going to lose every time, because he's going to slowly pull back. But if I drop my weight, and it literally, I know you probably can't see, but my feet are literally almost coming off the ground. I'm literally just that quick pop action. When I do that, Greg is going to come down with me. At that same moment that he comes down, that's when I pull down on his arms, which will give me that vital air, so, or blood, whatever the case is. So he's got me here nice and tight, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop, boom, and now I create this space, okay? Now I can't be here for long, because suck in again. Well, I'm right back where I was. So I want to do this all in one action. So I drop, boom, in here. Once I've created that space here, I've got a lot of options. One, I may be able to just simply drive out this way. Two, maybe I want to take him down, so I could come this way, turn around on his face, and drive him backwards. Okay? If we really want to get fancy on this one, come forward a little bit. I can come from here. I'm going to grab his belt, put my leg back here, and then just fall back. So he's got me here. This is another alternative. I'm sucked in tight. Maybe even if I couldn't get my head out, what I'm going to do is put my hand right here. The most important part is my leg that goes behind him, and then I'm simply going to drop my weight. I could also bring my arm up here, it doesn't really matter. But when I drop, I'm just going to fall back. And of course, I'm going to follow through and get on top. But even if I didn't, maybe I just fell down, and then I get out of dodge. Now here's one that most people find very scary, and that's the rear naked choke. Obviously, there had to be a lot of things that went wrong before you got here. I mean, especially if it's a one-person situation. For Greg to catch me in a rear naked choke, I mean, come on, we got to start paying attention to our surroundings. Now, let's say, for example, maybe I was fighting Greg's friend, and I was on the ground, and I got up, and then I didn't see Greg coming. That would I could see that. Okay, regardless of how we get here, let's talk about some escapes. Now, with the rear naked choke, that is one of probably the most horrible situations you can find yourself in. So remember that. But what you're going to find here is that the escapes that we use for headlocks and whatnot work just as well. Just a couple little changes. So Greg gets behind me, and for those that don't know what the, let's do it before you get out.
Okay.
The rear naked choke. So my head's going to be here. He's going to put his hand on his bicep. This hand's going to come behind my head. Okay, and he's going to suck in tight. It's going to cut my blood flow. I've got, I mean, if I make it 5 seconds, that'd be pretty impressive. So go ahead and throw that on. Okay, so he's got me here. Now, if I go this way, okay, towards his elbow, don't release or anything, I just make this worse for myself because there's nowhere for me to go. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to go towards his body. And what I'm going to do first with this hand is this hand is going to drop down this way. As I drop down, I'm rotating my body, okay, along with this foot. So my right leg and arm are going to come down, so he puts it on. I rotate this way, and I can come here to the face. Take him this way, and a couple other options. So, one more time. He gets me here, okay. To grab here, which may be your initial response, is just go ahead and tight. I'm never going to win this way. I can't. I have to create that space. So I have to rotate down. Okay, that's fine. So he's tight in here. I'm tight in here. The other thing I can do, I could come in, either grab this arm or I don't grab this arm, which I can suck in his waistband and take him down that way. I, of course, could drop him back this way, just like we did last time, and fall that way. So the same options we use for the headlock will still work for the rear naked. Obviously, in that particular choice, in that situation, it's bad no matter where you go. But if you don't try, you already lost. All right, so we're going to go back now to headlocks, and this we're just going to do a different variation of that. So the first time Greg was behind me, he had his arm around me for the headlock. But what if it's a situation where I'm facing him and he gets me in a headlock, or oftentimes referred to a guillotine? So we're here. And so Greg captures me here this way, okay? Right now, if Greg starts to really wrench and pull up, he's going to cut my blood flow and possibly even my airflow. So the same concepts are true. I want to get my hand up here. I want to then drop my weight, boom, create that space. What I can also do, once I break that space, is to keep this arm extended here on the hip. Because if he brings his hips up tight and arch your back, oh, okay, so he starts to choke. So if I keep this balance here, I can create that space. And right here, I may already have enough room, so let's start from the beginning, pull up tight. Okay, so boom, I break down. Right here, I have enough room. I could pop my head out if I had to, okay? But from that point, maybe I want to continue that. So come back again. So again, I'm here. I drop my weight, keep this back. Maybe I want to drive forward now. Capture your leg and take him down. Okay, if I do, for me, and if you have the experience, then I want to go ahead into a mount and finish the situation or get out of dodge. Alrighty guys, I hope you learned something from that. Again, special thanks to Greg on that one, helped me out there. We'll bring him back for some future videos. But you got to see a concept there with an opponent that's equal or bigger than me. You got to see some escapes from headlock, forward facing, rearward facing, and of course the dreaded rear naked choke. So hopefully that was helpful for you guys. You know where to find us, YouTube. We put all our A-roll stuff on Patreon. Of course, we're now tweeting on Twitter. Remember, next time, it's always better to be judged by 12 than carried by 6. This is like Hollywood, huh? 2 cams going.
It's real nice,
You got
man.
the tracks. Wait, that's how we make money on here. All right, you ready? That's how I afford all this shit, pornos. Especially if you wear high heels like Greg does on Saturdays, you can utilize that for pressure. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said that out loud. It's always be a better job to try. Hold, stop.